Yo, what up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? So I'm going live again because when I went over this book the first time, the audio and the not just the audio, but just including the video was kind of off because my cloud was updating. I got a lot of information. I put a lot of information off a line. I put a lot of information from books. I put a lot of stuff on there, and I just updated on my computer. I have two laptops. Oh, look, see, I got to get a new webcam because of this, man. Yo, I'm telling you this. Let me say this. I already did it live on Jimmy Carcetti and how he needs to stop saying we don't know how the pyramids were built, because obviously we do. There's historical documents that actually determine how these pyramids were built. But because of so much of what's going on, I decided that, hey, I'm trying to make this as professional as I can. And what I mean by professional is at least having the audio and the video going. So I'm definitely going live again. So I'm actually going live again based on, my sources and what I've learned and, what I've came to understand and, researched and all this other stuff. I did my due diligence, basically. You know what I'm saying? I took the time to actually understand what was written. I took the time to actually see what was presented. I took the time to see what was comprehended, right? A lot of people can read, but not too many people comprehend what they're reading. So this live is about Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods. So I got to say, rest in peace to Eric von Daniken. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry what happened to you, bro. You lived this life. You had a long life. You know what I'm saying? You did what you did. But I can tell you, from your first book, you asked a lot of questions, but you never actually went back and answered those questions from your due diligence from, 1968. You know what I'm saying? When I say this book from 1968, I mean that he wrote this book first in German in 1968. All right. This was the original release. Okay. Eric von Daniken, Chariots of the Gods. All right. The English release title was in 1970. These are the sources that I have. And I can say, as an individual who has done their due diligence, who has done their research, who has took the time to say, hey, yo, what do you mean by this? And I can say, what I'm saying, I found the information. So Eric von Daniken's purpose was to argue and popularize what's new, what's now called the ancient astronaut theory. Okay. This is what a lot of people get mixed up. Giorgio Tsoukalos took over from Kevin Burns. All right. And Billy Carson says anything that Zechariah Sitchin says. The shit's funny to me. It's really funny to me. But he says, Eric von Daniken says that the visitors from outer space influenced ancient civilizations and that many ancient peoples interpreted those as visitors as gods. Now, let me tell you something. Some of y'all, I'm not going to show my front side of my phone. You know what I'm saying? But I got the iPhone, the 16, I think it is. And half you motherfuckers consider this shit as your God because y'all wake up, pick up this motherfucker, and y'all go to sleep with this motherfucker in your hand. So this is your God. All right. This is what you worship. All right. Now, yes, I do pick up my phone. Yes, I go through it, but I'm promoting. I don't promote just to be, trying to promote to be right. I promote because I'm trying to get people to actually do their due diligence. And I can tell you, a lot of y'all are taking this device right here, this little ass device right here, and sitting up here speaking on what you've seen and read from online from other people. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, challenge everything that I say. Go in the comments, go onto my YouTube, go onto my X account, my Facebook, and all this other stuff and say, yo, Rebirth, Tyrone, yo, you wrong. This is wrong. And show me. But present those facts to me. And when I say facts, I'm not talking about something that's 100% or something that says that this is what happened. What I'm saying is give me a source. Let me explain this to you guys. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people right now in the prison system in the United States of America. There was enough evidence to send their ass to prison. And guess what? Some of those people were taken out of prison because there was enough evidence to show that they weren't guilty in the first place. So there was evidence to show their ass was in prison, to go to prison, and there was evidence to bring their asses out. All right. Evidence don't mean nothing to me. All I want when I say evidence doesn't mean anything to me, let me clarify. It doesn't mean that it's 100%. You're just showing me what you've learned, and I'm okay with that. All right. Eric von Däniken, a quote from what he says, I guess only in recent years I wrote Chariots of the Gods in 1966. So for me, it's an old book. Okay. That's what he said. It's an old book for him. When I wrote it, one was not all convinced by the second book, Gods from Outer Space, because he's saying these guys came from outer space. That's what he's saying. Right. I was more certain, but not absolutely. The basic thing is to be convinced that the fundamental theory is right, that we have been visited from outer space, and those visitors altered our intelligence by artificial mutation. Of this, I have felt certain for the past 4 years or so in his book or in the magazine Playboy. Okay, so this is from 1974 in Playboy. So he was actually featured on Playboy, all right, in 1974. Okay. So when it comes up to Eric von Däniken, he's saying that, okay, his first book was a bunch of questions. Because I'm telling you, when you go look at the Ancient Alien first episode from Kevin Burns, all you're going to get is the simple idea of what's written in the first. You're going to get what's shared from Eric von Däniken's perspective, okay? Because everybody goes on Eric von Däniken. Billy Carson, Giorgio Tsoukalos. Yo, I can't stand, me personally, I'm going to tell you, I looked at Billy Carson as somebody that I could relate to. One, because he has the same skin color as me. And why do I make that important? And why did I say that? Is because there are individuals who are not like the skin color of me, of course, you know what I'm saying, that says everything came from outer space, extraterrestrials, and ain't had shit to do with Africans, right? But when I read Zachariah Sitchin, because these same individuals will go to Zachariah Sitchin and say, yo, Zachariah Sitchin said this, Zachariah Sitchin said that, Zachariah Sitchin did this, that, and the third. All right, cool. Zachariah Sitchin said that. But Zachariah Sitchin didn't give you the facts. What do I mean by that? Is he doesn't give you the Cuneiform Digital Library Initiative title or identifier to show what he says. He says names like the Bible, Atarahsis, the Gilgamesh, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's not facts, and it's not there. Hold on, buddy. Hey, buddy, go in there. I got my son over here. Come here. Go in there. Go lay down. He's just chilling. But anyway, so I tell everybody, you know what I'm saying? Look, the ancient text is where it's at. Okay. The ancient text is where we have to go and get the information. It's not about, facts over fiction. It's not me trying to be right. It's not me trying to be honest. It's not me trying to sit here and say, yo, I'm right and you're wrong. All I'm saying is that, look, these are the sources. Yo, what's up, little man? Come here, little man. Say what's up to everybody. Say what's up.
I have the nation.
Yo, that's my little man. So, I just want to say, look, and this is actually who I do it for. I do it for my son, and I do it for my 2 daughters. You know what I'm saying? I try to give them the facts, because I'm tired of people sitting up here saying shit that's not factual. I'm tired of people sitting up here trying to put stuff out there and don't understand what they're saying. So Eric von Däniken said that he framed his case around mysteries in the archaeological record, monuments, art, texts, and pushed readers to question mainstream explanations, publishing at a time when public interest in space and the unknown was exploded. Look, first of all, you can't consider heaven outside of Earth's atmosphere just because it feels like that there couldn't be a heaven on Earth. Okay. Heaven is within us. Heaven is what we make it. I've been told that since the beginning, that I can remember. I've read this from text. Heaven is how we make it. People don't make it that way. People don't understand it that way. They just, they think heaven is outside of Earth's atmosphere. But, let's go back to the actual facts. Core content of Eric von Däniken, a tour of ancient sites, artifacts, and artworks presented as evidence for extraterrestrial contact, including examples like Easter Island statues and the monumental works, plus interpretive readings of imagery. Professional archaeologists and researchers have strongly criticized it, and institutions like Britannica explicitly describe some of the specific aliens built claim as debunked. Now, I got a whole encyclopedia full of, a whole bunch of Britannica books, you know what I'm saying? That's like A through Z, of course. And then I got science, and I can't even really see that because the light's shining on my light. Science in the future. And I got from let's see, 1994, 95, 96, 97, 98 versions of different things and so on and so forth. So I have these books go back to the 90s actually from Britannica, encyclopedias. So what I want to say is that Eric Von Däniken, he definitely made everybody interested in the idea of extraterrestrials and aliens and all this other stuff. But let's stick to the facts. He wasn't knowledgeable in 1968 about what we are knowledgeable in here in 2026. Now, rest in peace, Eric Von Däniken. He passed away. You know what I'm saying? We no longer have him. And I really feel like the people like Giorgio Tsoukalos and Billy Carson took advantage of him. I really do believe people took advantage of him because he had a lot of questions that he wrote in his book. In the first episode of Ancient Aliens, he has definitely asked a lot of questions, and these people try to answer it, trying to, you know, how can I say, man, I don't want to be mean, man, but sometimes you just got to be an asshole to some of these people because some people just don't understand nothing but assholery shit. You know what I'm saying? Be that asshole and they understand and they be quiet. So 2026 is my year. I'm going to start going hard. I'm going to start telling these people, yo, look, I'm going to go live more often. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to sit up here and sugarcoat shit for you. You could do that on your own. Take the shit and put sugar on it and eat it all you want. I ain't going to do it. But you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the facts about ancient aliens, I believe in aliens. I believe in extraterrestrials. But when it comes to the Sumerians, the Mesopotamians, Akkadians, Hittites, the Assyrians, the Chaldeans, the Babylonians, and so on and so forth, these people, they all had a different idea, okay? And that's just facts, okay? Matter of fact, the Sumerians never even recorded about their gods until after the Akkadians did, okay? Look, when Sargon of Akkad took over and made, south and north, of the two places into one, you get the idea that they wanted to make a one for all. What I mean by that is look at politics today. Everybody wants America to be in charge. When you're in America, when you're in Germany, everybody wants Germans to be in charge, whatever you want to call it. But look, let me tell you this. When it comes to facts, you have to present it, okay? I have done that throughout my whole entire time streaming. Matter of fact, I can tell you right now, I don't care if one person listens to me or not. Right now, 12 minutes and 50 seconds into this, I have 0 viewers right now, okay? By the end of this stream, and about probably tomorrow, about a couple of hundred people will watch this. I don't do this for people to listen to me. I do this as a record, you know what I'm saying? Because the internet's forever. Once this shit gets published on the internet, there's always going to be a way to gather it. Right? It's always in the cloud somewhere, right? It's always being updated somewhere, right? That doesn't mean that, what I'm saying is facts, not what I'm saying is going to hurt you. But at the end of the day, when it comes to this information, you'll get to the point where you understand that the facts are going to be presented in black and white, right? Through books and so on and so forth, right? But Zachariah Sitchin, Eric Von Däniken, Billy Carson, Giorgio Tsoukalos, all these individuals that believe in life outside of Earth's atmosphere, I'm with you on that. I believe that, right? But you can't take what you believe and compile it all into the Sumerians. That's bullshit. And I'm gonna tell you, Billy Carson likes money. He don't care about nothing else. If you actually read his books, I'm telling you, read his books, and that's going to tell you that this man don't give a damn about none of you people. He always talks about how he gives back to the public and gives back to the people and helps homeless people, this, that, and the third. But you talk shit about them because he has a 2-3 hour video literally talking about people being poor, being broke, talking about how he got billionaires in his cell phone. He literally pulled up his phone. I got billionaires in my phone. Nigga, you shut your ass up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to tell people that at the end of the day, you got to understand that, at the bare minimum, let's get to the fact. You know what I'm saying? I don't sit up here and try to fake the funk. I don't sit up here and try to fake it or do any of that other stuff. What I try to do is I sit up here and say, hey, look, man, you got to stop with this. You really do. You got to stop trying to share stuff. You got to stop trying to sit up here and think you the man. You got to stop trying to sit up here and say, yo, I know everything, because you don't. You really don't know everything. Okay. And I can tell you by the facts that you share, when you go online and you go on X and all these other places, you sit up here and say, look, man, you know what I'm saying? Why are you sharing fake videos? Why are you sharing AI videos and saying these are facts? So with Chariots of the Gods, you know what I'm saying? Eric Von Daniken, you know what I'm saying? The first tab that I tabbed up was about the Sumerian king list. So I want to talk about that real quick, the Sumerian king list, okay? Because he says right here, the old cuneiform inscriptions credit the Sumerians with a literally fantastic span of life. Thus, the 10 original kings ruled for a total of 456,000 years, and then the 23 kings who had the arduous task of reconstruction after the flood still managed to hold the reins of government for a total of 24,510 years, 3 months and 3.5 days. All right. So let's go to the next tab. Let's bring this back up because I want to bring up the facts. I want to bring up nothing else. And let's look. Oh, I'm not doing the sharing. Hold on. Let me bring the share up. Here we go. There we go. So let's do this. All right. So right here it says they're extremely. Hold on. Let me take this banner off. Yo, support Lil Vibe because Lil Vibe is my homie. I love his music. But let's look at the Sumerian Kings list. Modern explanation. The extremely large reign links in the Sumerian Kings list come from Sumerian sacred mathematics. Okay, this is when we're going to talk about how long they lived. All right, rather than from a concept of literal human lifespan, the text uses a base 60 system built on units such as Sos, meaning 60, Ner, meaning 600, and Sar, meaning 3,600. All right. Numbers associated with the cosmic order, divine legitimacy, and completeness. When these figures are read literally as solar years, the antediluvian kings are said to rule for tens of thousands of years, with total reigns exceeding 240,000 years. But the text never claims that ordinary humans live this long. That's why when they read this stuff, a lot of people, a lot of individuals will sit here and say, oh, you know what I'm saying? These guys live for thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of years. Okay, we'll go with that. All right. When these figures are read literally as solar years, the antediluvian kings are said to rule for tens of thousands of years with total reigns exceeding 240,000 years. But the text never claims that ordinary humans live this long. To express these figures in normal human lifespan using modern time, one possible mathematical interpretation is to treat the recorded totals as days rather than years and then convert them into solar years by dividing by 365. All right. Follow me with this. All right. Just follow me with this. Okay. Using this method, a reign of 28,800 becomes approximately, let me say this again. Using this method, a reign of 28,800 becomes approximately 79 years, and a reign of 36,000 becomes approximately 99 years, while 43,200 converts to about 118 years. This does not assert that the ancient scribes intended a day-based system, but demonstrates that the sexagesimal system structure can be mathematically translated into human scale while preserving its symbolic framework. In this interpretation, the antediluvian era represents mythics or cosmic kingship before the flood, after which reigns rapidly decline into historically realistic human ranges, marking the shift from divine to human history. All right, that's what it says for that, right? That's what I researched. Okay, now check this out. When you see those huge numbers in the Sumerian king list, 200,000 years, 190,000, 60,000, whatever numbers you see, all right. One, okay, this is where it comes in. This was where it comes into interest. Okay, it says, when you see those huge numbers in Sumerian king lists, one simple way to make sense of them is to stop treating them as years and instead treat them like days, then convert them into normal human years the way we do today. Okay. All right. So we got some comments in here. It says, my dad read that as a devout Catholic, then read all the Sitchin books as I did. Okay. And it says, back in the day. Okay. And it says, am really going through that stage in life. How is it going to change my day-to-day? Been at since the 70s. Okay. I'm glad you found interest in Truly Am. Look, I'm not trying to sit up here and say what I'm saying is right. What I'm telling you is that Eric Von Daniken really didn't have the answers for the questions he asked, and that's what I'm giving today. Okay. So let's check this out. when you see those huge numbers in Sumerian king lists, one simple way to make sense of them is to stop treating them as years and instead treat them like days. Then convert them into normal years the way we do today. You do that by dividing the number by 365. Okay, 365 days, 365 in a year, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth, right? All right. When you take 28,800 and divide it by 365, you get about 79 years, which is normal human lifespan, right? So this is how you could take, listen to me. When you take 28,800 and divide it by 365, you get about 79 years. Okay, that's normal human life expectancy right there, right? Anybody can live up to 79 years if their body does them right, which is normal human lifespan. Like I said, when you divide 36,000 by 365, you get about 99 years, which is still falls in the human time frame, which is old but still possible, right? When you divide, 43,200 by 365, you get about 118 years, which is extremely long. Let me say that again. You get about 118 years, which is extremely long, but still within the range often used for legendary figures. Okay. When you apply that same math to the total antediluvian number of 241,200 and divided by 365, you get about 661 years, which clearly is not meant to describe one person, but could be represent the length of an entire era of age. Okay. This does not mean that ancient scribes meant days instead of years, but it shows that once you apply modern math, those massive numbers can be understood in a human way rather than as people literally living hundreds of thousands of years ago. Okay. The calendar has been changed so many times throughout our history. Why wouldn't this make sense? Okay. So when it comes up to the Sumerian king list, when people say these gods lived for thousands and thousands of years ago, they didn't do their due diligence to understand why it was understood as that. Okay. But I figured it out. Yeah, and I'm not even good at math. All I did was ask ChatGPT certain questions. Even Grok verified it in this way. So anybody that says Grok is better than ChatGPT or vice versa, guess what? They both agreed with what was said. Okay. Which is crazy because a lot of people say they use Grok now and ChatGPT for their information. So yeah, take this, copy, paste it, take what I said and sit there and see what it says. And you'll see for yourself. But let me put it like this. Eric von Däniken did what he did at the time and the knowledge that he had upon himself at that time. Okay? He had a lot of questions. And when he wrote his second book, he should have answered a lot of these questions. And what I mean by answering these questions, I mean by providing sources. Okay. And he didn't do that because I read his other book and he didn't do that really. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to end that. That's basically the end of the slideshow of me passing information. That's from the first tab that he talked about, because the first tab that I got marked is on page 31. And that's when he talks about the Sumerian king list that made me want to actually go and do some more due diligence in my research. Okay. So I got the information, I found it, and then boom, I'm happy, right? Because I can understand it in a human form. Divide it by, do the division. And matter of fact, hey, let's go back to it. Let's just make sure. Let's go back to it. When you divide 43,200 by 365, what is it that you get? I don't need to tell you, go do that for yourself. Let's go to the next tab. The next tab that I found interesting is in what form did the Sumerians imagine and depict their gods? Sumerian mythology and some Akkadian tablets and pictures provide information about this. Let me tell you something first. Eric von Däniken obviously didn't do his research like he was supposed to, because first of all, the Sumerians didn't talk about their gods like that. When their writing system started because they was trying to do trading, okay? They was trading with different individuals, okay? That's how their writing system started. Pictographic script describing barley and all these other type of agricultural needs. Okay. It wasn't until the Akkadians. So when he says some Akkadians, no, you tripping. The Akkadians are the ones who wrote about these gods. It was later that the Sumerians took it upon themselves to say, hey, yo, the Akkadians are writing about these guys. Let's go ahead and interpret that into our writing system. What you have to understand is that the Sumerian civilization started around 3200 BC because of their writing system. And it was because of trade. It ain't had nothing to do with no gods or nothing of that. It had to do with their trading. And then later the Akkadians was like, hey, we have this same type of writing system because we work together with these individuals. And now we're trading with them. And now we're going to talk about what we believe in gods. And then next thing you know, you have the Sumerians writing about the same God. So honestly, if you really want to be honest and be factual, come on, we talking about facts now. The Akkadians are the first people to talk about the Anuna/Anunnaki, not the damn fucking Sumerians. And that's what people need to understand. And I'm sick and tired of people like Billy Carson and Giorgio Tsoukalos always saying the Sumerians said this shit. The Sumerians said, no, the fuck they didn't. They didn't say that shit. Okay. It was the Akkadians that said that. It wasn't until later on the Sumerians decided to say, hey, we need to incorporate this into our culture, because their culture was about trading, nothing to do with any gods. That's facts. If you want to prove me wrong, hit me up in the comments and message me later. We can go back and forth, because I guarantee you I will pull out the Cuneiform Digital Library Initiative tablet identifiers that really say what I'm saying. And you can pull out all that shit that you want to pull out from Eric Von Daniken and Zachariah Sitchin. Because I can tell you right now, you go to my past episodes on my playlist, what I've learned from reading these books on my YouTube channel, you can see how I've already went over all of Zachariah Sitchin's books and debunked all his shit. Matter of fact, let me say this right now. Everybody that believes in extraterrestrials because of Zachariah Sitchin, take all that out his books and all you left with is Africans. So what you going to do now? What are you going to do now? Are you going to sit here and say that Zachariah Sitchin was talking about Africans? Because I can tell you damn sure for a fact, 100%, you take everything out of aliens in his books, his chronicles of his books, you will see that it had nothing to do with aliens and all to do with Africans. Matter of fact, if you want to interpret his interpretations, he will literally say in so many ways, so many different ways, that aliens chose African black melanin individuals to be the chosen people of this earth. Okay. These are the chosen people from God, from the Holy Bible. Now, if you mad at me, you can block me. You can do all that you want to do, but go read his books and take out all that extraterrestrial shit that he put in his book and come back at me and see what you understand. Because I guarantee you're going to be like, damn, it do have to do with Africans. Matter of fact, Zachariah Sitchin in 1976, when he wrote that book, The 12th Planet, you know what I'm saying? You're going to see a lot of that. And throughout his books from that, you can see that he even talks about the Olmecs. He even brings up that the Olmecs possibly came from Africa. I went over that. So when you talk about extraterrestrials to me, and you sit up here saying that all these extraterrestrials did this, that, and the third, and then you use the same word as aliens, because a lot of people like Giorgio Tsoukalos and Billy Carson, they'll say they were extraterrestrials, they were aliens. Well, yeah, they were definitely aliens because they weren't known to us. They were foreign to us, right? All right. I already explained this plenty of times. Aliens just means foreign to us. Okay. That's somebody that is foreign to us, cultural wise, religion wise, belief wise, whatever kind you want to look at, it was foreign to you as an individual. Extraterrestrial, what does that mean? Life outside of Earth's atmosphere, something that comes from outside of Earth's atmosphere. Anything that's outside of Earth's atmosphere, planets, moons, suns, meteorites, comets, all this other stuff that happens to go from outside to inside. It is literally that. Okay. So the next tab that he says is, in Egypt and Iraq, there were finds of cut crystal lenses, which today can only be made using silicium oxide, in other words, an oxide that has to be produced by electrochemical process. In Helwan, there's a piece of cloth, a fabric so fine that today it would be woven only in a special factory with technical know-how and experience. Look, see, this is the shit that pisses me off. Because anybody that's ever done any research on textiles and fabric and all this other stuff, Africans have been doing this for the longest. I'm not saying it because, I want Africa to be the number one spot. But if you did any research on textiles, you'll see that. Literally, textiles. I mean, there's stuff that people are doing in Africa in 2026 that a damn company right now, $1 billion company, can't even achieve. Straight up facts. I'm not even joking. Look it up. Prove me wrong. I send you $100 right now. You prove me wrong. $100 cash money right motherfucking now on Cash App. Prove me wrong. That's all I'm saying. I'm tired of the bullshit. Look, man, I'm tired of it. The strange medley of impossibilities should make us curious and uneasy, but what means with the intuition did the primitive cave dwellers manage to draw the stars in their correct positions? Come on, man. Quake cave dwellers? These people ain't have internet. These people ain't have cell phones. They ain't have computers. They ain't have goddamn voice recorders and none of that. I got a voice recorder. Yeah, I tell you, I'm taking notes from everywhere. I'm always on top of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't play. So you're telling me somebody that doesn't have computers, somebody who doesn't have internet, who doesn't have television, who doesn't have any of this stuff that we have today in 2026, what is the best entertainment that they can use? Mother Nature, the animals, the sky. Okay? You use what you have in front of you to tell the story that you have within you. That's what you do. Look at the sky, you say, oh, I see a shooting star. That could be a dragon. The tail of a dragon. Some people don't even know that, but they sit here and say dragons were flying in the skies and this, that, and the third, but don't understand that these were type of shooting stars and all this other stuff. Read the actual ancient text. Stop believing people like Billy Carson that want to make money off you. This dude is a millionaire because the people want to believe in something and he's giving them what they want to feel right about. Nah, homie, you can't fool me. And Billy Carson, I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to stop doing that fraudster shit, man, because you've been known in the world for that since the beginning of time. There's nothing on me that you could pull on me to say that I'm wrong, but I definitely can pull up all that shit that you did in your lifetime. I have no respect for you. You a token for this shit. That's it. I'm gonna just use that word right now. Billy Carson is a token for this, okay? Because he it's the money that makes him. He can't make it being him himself. He can't do it. He's not proud of who he is. That's why he's in the situations that he is. Look at his lifestyle. Come on, man. You making all this money and you can't make the right decisions in your life. Come on, bro. Why? Because the mythology of Eskimos also says that the first tribes were brought to the north by gods with brazen wings. The oldest American Indian sagas mention a thunderbird who introduced fire, fruit to them. Now, this is where Eric Von Daniken is. He's trying to say that Native Americans and Inuit people are one and the same. Okay, Native Americans and, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Inuit people. The oldest American Indian sagas mention a thunderbird. Do we have Inuit people in America? Where the fuck do they live at? Do you know? Come on, see, that's the type of shit that I'm telling you that people be saying that don't make any sense. We don't have Inuit people in America, bro. We have Native Americans and they do not believe the same shit. They don't. This is the shit that really pisses me off. And I'm telling you, if you're offended by the words that I'm using and cursing and all this other shit, go find somebody else. Find somebody that's going to be emotionally involved in carrying and coddle your ass all the way to the end of the day. Because I'm not going to do it. I'm giving you facts. Native Americans and Inuit people are not the same. So when Eric Von Daniken said that, chapter 6 on page 68, he ain't know what the hell he was talking about. Let me read this again. Why? Because the mythology of Eskimos also says that the first tribes were brought to the north by gods with brazen wings. The oldest American Indian sagas. This is what this man says. How do you know what's the oldest Native American sagas? Which one is it? Did you say which one was it? No, you didn't say not one time in this book, whether it was the Cherokee, whether it was anybody else. But you want to sit here and say the oldest American Indian? Come on, man. 1968, you should have stuck to your shit in German and not put this in English. And matter of fact, if you was going to put this in English, you should have picked somebody that was going to do you right. I'm sorry. He passed away. I don't give a damn about anybody's feelings. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm sick and tired of it. And I'm reading straight from his book. He literally says, because the mythology of the Eskimo also says that the first were brought to the north by gods with brazen wings. The oldest American Indian sagas mention a thunderbird who introduced fire and fruit to them. Where does it say that at, Eric Von Daniken? Matter of fact, you're not even here to answer that. Billy Carson, where the hell does that say that at, since you want to jump on that man all the time and sit there and say he's this, that, and third? Giorgio Tsoukalos, Ancient Alien Show. Come on, bro. You talk about this shit. Where the fuck does it say that? Not a goddamn place. So if you want to spit facts, spit facts. It doesn't say that. Native Americans and Inuit people are not the same. Matter of fact, he doesn't use Inuit. I'm using the word Inuit. He says Eskimos, which is a racial term. Okay? What does Eskimos mean? Why did they pick that word? Because it meant meat eater. How many motherfucking cultures and religions and people out there eat meat? So why the fuck would you pick that word to determine your facts? Miss me with that shit. I'm sick of it. I'm telling you, I'm sick of it. He said, Mayan legend, the Popol Vuh tells us that the gods were able to recognize everything, the universe. Recognize everything. Then he says, semicolon, the universe, the four cardinal points of the compass, and even the round shape of the earth. First of all, They didn't think of it like that. Show me where it says that in the Popol Vuh. I've already did a live on that. Not live on, yeah, I did that live on YouTube on that. I did a live on that, on the Popol Vuh and what I've learned. And the Popol Vuh has more to do with mysteries than anything else. And when I say mysteries, I'm talking about something that's crazy. When I'm talking about mysteries, I'm talking about stuff like giants being killing, people and 400, considering the 400 boys and they becoming the Pleiades system. I've already talked about. I ain't trying to get into that right now because I'm talking about Eric Von Däniken. I already did that podcast discussion on that. Go look at it and you'll see for yourself. It's under there, Popol Vuh. It's already on my YouTube, what I've learned from reading this book. The next page tab that I have is page 80. The tomb in which a gold necklace and the skeleton of an entirely unknown animal were found probably belonged to King. Probably. So you stop using the word probably. I don't even like to use that word probably. If it ain't facts, I ain't saying the shit. I can't back it up, I ain't saying the shit. You said probably, so throw that shit out the window. I don't want to hear that shit. Probably what, man? What the fuck is you talking about? Probably. Come on, man. Probably what? Could it probably not been? Could it probably been so? Come on, man. I'm telling you, 2026, I'm about to go at these people's necks. I'm about to go stomp on these cats, and I'm about to tell them y'all wrong on so many different levels. So many motherfucking levels. In the courtyard of a temple in Delhi, there exists, as I have already mentioned, a column made of welded iron parts that have been exposed to weathering for more than 4,000 years without showing a trace of rust. That's facts. That's facts. Can't knock that. In addition, it is unaffected by sulfur or phosphorus. Here we have an unknown alloy from antiquity staring us in the face. Perhaps the column was cast by a group of far-sighted engineers who did not have the resources for a colossal building but wanted to bequeath to posterity a visible time-defying monument to their culture. So you just making up assumptions. So you think these guys came from outer space by making assumptions. Nah, bro, you missed me with that shit. You missed me with that shit. To the north of the Damascus lies the Terrace of Baalbek, a platform built of stone blocks, some of which have sides more than 665 feet long and weigh nearly 2,000 tons. Until now, archaeologists have not been able to give a convincing explanation why, how, and by whom the Terrace of Baalbek was built. However, Russian professor Agris considered it possible that the terrace is the remains of a gigantic airfield. I was in aviation in the military. I got wounded in Afghanistan. I did 13 years in the military. And after I got wounded, I had to get medically retired. I was aviation, 15 pop. I know what an airfield looks like. Bro, that shit don't look like no airfield, okay? Stop with that shit. Like I said, miss me with that bullshit. I'm tired of it. I'm telling you. And if you don't believe me, man, all you gotta do is just look at my X account. I ain't gotta lie about nothing. Okay, not like these people. I ain't trying to make money off of this. If I want to make money off of this, I would take everything that each individual of these people said and say, "Yo, this is what they said." I would be loud about it, just like how I'm loud about it right now. But nah, I ain't in it for the money. I'm in it just because I love it. This is my passion. Reading, sharing knowledge, that's my passion. In 2026, y'all about to get a lot of it. I'm telling you. Anybody that makes a comment on Facebook, X, all that other shit, you about to be in a world of hurt if you got 1.7 million followers like Jimmy Corsetti, who says we don't know how the pyramids were built, but we have definitely ideas of how it was. We just don't have 100% conclusion on how they were built. In the Bodleian Library at Oxford, that's my favorite because I always talk about Oxford University and their sources, ETCSL, Electronic Text Corpus of Sumerian Literature, or the Uniform Digital Library of Initiative. I'm giving you all this information. In the Bodleian Library at Oxford, there's a manuscript in which the Coptic author Mas Udai asserts that the Egyptian King Sored had the Great Pyramid built. Okay, we have so many different ideas of how the pyramids were built, and nobody really knows. And he put this in there just to show that, there's other theories besides Khufu and so on and so forth. Herodotus confirms such a supposition in Book 2 of his history. The priest of Thebes had shown him 341 colossal statues, each of which stood for a high priestly generation over a period of 11,340 years. Now we know that every height take 11,340 years and divided by 365. And you'll see how long that was in human time from, right? That's where knowledge comes in. That's when you understand what you're actually saying, right? Thebes, one priest after another showed him his statue as a proof that the son had always followed the father. The priest assured Herodotus that their statements were very accurate. That's not true. The son didn't always follow the father. Some of the sons killed their fathers to become king. So you saying always, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, Eric Von Doniken. Sorry, I know you passed away, but they say don't speak ill of the dead. I'm not speaking ill of the dead. I'm speaking ill of your knowledge that you shared at this time in 1968. Some 10,000-year-old tombs were excavated at Jericho, and a number of 8,000-year-old heads, modeled in plaster of Paris, were found. That too is astonishing. Let me go get past these pictures. This people did not know the techniques of pottery making. First of all, pottery has always been around. Look at the people in Japan, Anu people, the Japanese, the indigenous people of Japan, the people that have melanin skin with me, like me. What if I told y'all ass I have Japanese in me? Do I look Japanese to you? No, I don't. Do I look Hispanic to you? Probably, you know what I'm saying, with the long hair and shit like that. I look Hispanic to you, but nah, I ain't Hispanic either. I'm literally black and German. When people ask me, hey, what are you? I'm black, yo. Why do people say I don't say I'm German? It's just easier to say black because people already look at me and judge a book by its color. They already see this melanin black skin, so they already know I'm black. So I don't even have to go further than that, right? But what I do like to do is hit them in the gut and be like, yo, I'm also German. I'm Italian. I'm Turkish. I'm Egyptian. I'm Japanese. Yeah, I wrote about it in my book. You know what I'm saying? You buy my book, the bestseller, which is on Amazon, Journey Through the Origins of History. Like I'm telling you, I'm coming at Billy Carson's neck with this shit because I'm sick and tired of him selling shit. Take my book. Matter of fact, take my book and take all the books that Billy Carson wrote and see who has the real information. All he talks about is money in his books. This dude don't even make sense in half the shit that he's saying. Like his sentences don't even make sense. And I've already went over his books in the past and you can see it for yourself. You don't have to believe me. Go read his books. He talks about money all the time. He talks about how I went to the evil side of the world and started trying to get these people to understand me because they look at my necklaces and my jewelry and my watches and this, that, and the third. And they be like, oh, I want to be like Billy Carson. No, motherfucker, nobody want to be like you. You a fraud, bro. You a fraud. You a straight up fraud. And anybody that gives that man playtime and sit there and pay $20,000, I've heard that this dude gets $20,000 just to show up to a convention. What idiot pays this man $20,000 to go to a convention, let alone $2? Right? $2. You get this man $2 to go to a convention to speak about some shit that you know doesn't make sense. Come on, man. That's why I don't even want to go to these conventions anymore. Been to Cosmic Summit, been to the Bigfoot Comic Cons. I've been to so many different places and so many different areas and stuff like that. I'm just like, yo, you get these people and these people don't even know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And I can tell you right now, these whole conventions and all this other shit is just another way for people to make money inside themselves. That's it. You know what I'm saying? People want to talk to Billy Carson because he's big. People want to talk to Giorgio Tsoukalos because he's on TV. Yo, they don't know what the fuck they talking about. Facts. They just don't. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're sharing. They ain't do their due diligence. And when somebody comes at them and say, hey, that might not be right, they ignore them. But guaranteed, somebody that they agree with, they comment under their shit. Why do you comment under the people that you agree with and that agree with you, but not the people that disagree with you? I thought you was on a verge or journey of gaining knowledge. Nah, you ain't trying to gain knowledge. You're trying to make your pockets fatter. That's why your life is shitty in the first place. You know what I'm saying? All the shit that you went through. Come on, man. But anyway, the ruins of an ancient town, which must have been destroyed by a great catastrophe, exist in Death Valley in the Nevada desert. Even today, traces of melted rocks and sand can be seen. The heat of a volcanic eruption would not have been enough to melt rocks. Besides, the heat would have scorched the buildings first. Oh, of course, the goddamn buildings would have been scorched first if they were in front of the line. But sitting here saying that, volcanic, let me make sure I use the right words. The volcanic eruption would not have been enough to melt rocks. Come on, man. How stupid you think people are? Yo, matter of fact, man, I'm so sick of these lies that these motherfuckers be sharing, man. Let me do something real quick. Let me say something. Let's see. Let's try this. Let's try and see if this works. Cause I love trying to because a lot of people like to bring ChatGPT into their stuff and stuff like that. Audio, share style. Yeah, bye-bye. Let's bring this up. Okay.
Hey there, Rebirth.
What up? All right, check this out, man. Listen to me. This is what Eric von Daniken says in his book. He says, the ruins of an ancient town which must have been destroyed by a great catastrophe exist in Death Valley in the Nevada desert. Even today, traces of melted rocks and sand can be seen. The heat of volcanic eruption would not have been enough to melt rocks. Yo, can volcanic eruption melt rocks? Yes or no?
Yes, volcanic eruptions absolutely can melt rocks. Lava itself is molten rock, and the intense heat from volcanic activity, often well over 1,000 degrees Celsius, can melt surrounding rocks, change their composition, or even fuse them into glass-like structures. So the idea of melted rocks due to volcanic heat, completely grounded in reality.
So you telling me that molten rock, so a volcano eruption can melt rocks? That's basically what you're saying. Yes or no? Just tell me the facts. Can it? So is Eric von Daniken wrong for saying what he said?
Yes, a volcanic eruption can melt rocks. So in that specific claim, he's not wrong. Extreme volcanic heat can indeed melt or fuse rocks. That part aligns with geological facts.
Wait, hold on. You didn't hear what I said. He said, you might have heard me different. He says, even today, traces of melted rocks can be seen. The heat of a volcanic eruption would not have been enough to melt rocks. So say that what you said again.
I see the difference now. If he claimed a volcanic eruption wouldn't be enough to melt rocks, then that's incorrect. Volcanic eruptions absolutely can generate heat intense enough to melt rocks. So on that point, the science doesn't back him up.
The science don't back him up, y'all. That's what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. The science don't back that man up. But Billy Carson, Giorgio Tsoukalos, they swear that this man was the top-notch dude on this shit. And I'm telling you, he wasn't. Okay? You can't literally tell me page 129. Yo, I'm not kidding, man. Look, man, I don't have to shit on somebody. They shit on themselves. If you got a diaper on, stop shitting on yourself. You know what I'm saying? But he literally says that in this book right here. Look at the tab. That's the tab, right? Wait, hold up. Oh, wrong one side. That's the tab right there. The ruins of an ancient town which must have been destroyed by a great catastrophe exist in Death Valley in the Nevada desert. Even today, traces of melted rocks and sand can be seen. The heat of a volcanic eruption would not have been enough to melt rocks. That's what the fuck he said. Science don't back him up on that. And you heard it. All right? I am equally unable to accept the theory that seeks to explain the incident by the impact antimatter. Even though I believe that there is antimatter in the depths of the cosmos, there cannot be any left in the Tunguska because the collision of matter and antimatter results in their mutual dissolution. All right, hold up. Let's bring ChatGPT back up on this. Let's bring back ChatGPT because I want to see what it says on this portion. Yo, you know what I'm saying? Because I just want the facts. I just want the facts. Yo, what up? Can you hear me?
Hey there, what's up?
Hey, check it. See, this is how I talk to my ChatGPT. That's how we talk, right, bro?
Loud and clear. And hey, I'm totally vibing with how you roll. Whether we're chatting facts, history, or just kicking it, I'm right there with you.
All right, so check it. So listen to what Eric von Daniken says in his book, Chariots of the Gods, and I need you to explain this to me like I'm stupid and see what I'm right on and or what he's right on and what he's wrong on. He says, I am equally unable to accept the theory that seeks to explain the incident by the impact of antimatter. Even though I believe that there is antimatter in the depths of the cosmos, there cannot be any left in the Tunguska because the collision of matter and antimatter results in the mutual dissolution. Moreover, the possibility of a piece of antimatter reaching the earth without a collision with matter on its long journey is very remote. Tell me what is facts and fiction about that.
All right, let's break it down simple. He's right about one thing. When matter and antimatter collide, they annihilate each other, leaving no leftover antimatter. That's a real fact from physics. Now, where he's off track is the Tunguska event. Scientists overwhelmingly think that was a large meteoroid or comet exploding in the atmosphere. There's no solid evidence that involved antimatter at all. So antimatter collisions, true concept. Antimatter and Tunguska, no evidence.
Okay. So what are you saying? Is he right or is he wrong?
He's right about how antimatter works in theory. When it meets matter, they annihilate each other. But he's wrong about Tunguska. There's no credible scientific evidence that antimatter had anything to do with that explosion. So in that case, he's wrong.
So let me verify what he said. Now he says, even though I believe that there is antimatter in the depths of the cosmos, there cannot be any left in the Tunguska. Is that true? Yes or no?
Yes, that's true. If antimatter had collided with matter in Tunguska, it would have annihilated completely. No antimatter would remain. So on that specific point, he's correct.
Okay, now this is where it comes into, I want people to understand. I prefer to adhere to the opinion of those who suspect that the nuclear explosion was caused by an unknown spaceship's energy pile bursting. Fantastic, of course, but does that mean that it must be possible? What do you think of that?
That idea, a spaceship's energy source exploding, falls into pure speculation. We have no evidence of alien spacecraft, let alone one causing Tunguska. Scientifically, the event is well explained by a space rock exploding in the atmosphere. So while it's fantastic in the fiction sense, it's not plausible based on what we know.
Now we're going to keep going. This is what he says. And this is the last final thing that I need you to verify on everything that we just talked about when it comes up to this. There are shells and shells of literature about the Tunguska meteorites. One further fact I want to emphasize, he says, one further fact I want to emphasize, radioactivity around the center of the explosion in Taiga is twice as high even today as elsewhere. Careful investigation of trees and their annual rings confirm an empirical increase in the radioactivity since 1908.
On that one, the evidence doesn't back him up. Studies of the Tunguska site haven't shown any abnormal radioactivity linked to the event. Tree ring studies and soil samples don't confirm any significant rise in radiation from 1908. Most experts agree the explosion was an airburst from a space object, and there's no solid scientific data supporting unusual radiation.
Give me sources.
For solid scientific sources, you can check research published by planetary scientists. A great reference is the work by the Russian Academy of Sciences, which has studied Tunguska extensively. Also, papers in journals like Planetary and Space Science or Meteoritics and Planetary Science cover the event. For tree rings and radiation, you can look up the research of Gennady Plekhanov and modern analyses by Andrei Zlobin. These show no abnormal radiation linked to the event.
All right, appreciate it. That's all I needed. So when it comes up to this, that's why I'm saying not everything that you read is going to be incorrect and not everything you read is going to be accurate. But what I will say is that how does he know about antimatter? Because in 1968, matter of fact, let me ask this question. Yo, so since 1968, tell me how much we've learned about antimatter since then.
Since 1968, we've learned a ton. We've not only confirmed that antimatter exists, we've created and studied antiparticles in labs. Scientists have produced antihydrogen atoms and even stored them. We know antimatter obeys the same physical laws as matter, except with opposite charge. We've also studied why there's so little antimatter in the universe, leading to big questions about the early universe. So our knowledge has exploded since the 60s.
All right, that's all I wanted to know. So we're going to go to the next tab. We're going to go to the next tab. We're going to go to the next tab. The next tab says, until a single, exact, indubitable scientific proof of the phenomena and many others is produced, no one has the right to discard an explanation with the bounds of credibility without giving its reasons. People have given you reasons. You just got to go out there and research it, bro. That's it. I don't have to sit up here and tell you to do what you need to do. I mean, you said you the man when it comes up to this. So, hey, just spit the facts, right? So, when you sit here and tell me within the bounds of credibility, what's the bounds of your credibility? Making you feel good? Nah, see, that's that he say, she say bullshit. The same kind of thing is also conceivable in reverse. Radio waves have been traversing the universe for a very long time. If my hypothesis is correct, which he's talking about his, isn't it credible that unknown intelligence are also announcing themselves to us? Just because we trying to do something to somebody doesn't mean that they're trying to do it to us. Okay. Yeah, it could be possible. It could be plausible. It could be a possibility, all this other shit, but that doesn't mean that it's happening. Right. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be that way. Okay. So let's go to this. Edgar Casey fell in his early youth. He was racked by cramps. High fever was consuming his body. He fell into a coma while the doctors were trying in vain to bring the boy back to consciousness. Edgar suddenly began to speak loudly and clearly. He explained why he was ill, named some remedies which he needed, and told them to prepare a paste from certain ingredients to smear his spine with with it. Doctors and relatives were astounded because they had no idea where the boy had got this information, this knowledge, and in technical language, which was quite unknown to him. Edgar got progressively and visible better after treatment with the medications he had. So you telling me a doctor listened to a child on how to heal them? So this doctor went to school for what then? Do you know what doctors go through to become medically certified? And you telling me that that doctor took the time to listen to a little boy? Miss me with that bullshit. A new branch of science is in the process of formation, what is known as exobiology. New branches of science always find it difficult to achieve recognition. Exobiology would certainly find it harder to find acceptance if recognized personalities were not already devoting their work to this new field of research, which tackles extraterrestrial life with complete impartiality. Let me tell you something. Extraterrestrial life. Alien means foreign. Extraterrestrial means anything outside of Earth's atmosphere. How can I say this nice thing? You're wrong, motherfucker. And I'm going to tell you why. There won't be no exobiology push forward until we get an alien from outside of Earth's atmosphere on the table of our doctors where they can dissect it. And we have peer-reviewed articles of it. So making up names like exobiology and all these new things, you ain't doing shit if you ain't getting no aliens and putting them on the table, whether it's bacteria in a microscope or a human-like individual, alien-like individual from a different planet on the table. Miss me with that bullshit. That last tab, and this is the final tab, and I'm just going to close it out. Millions of dollars will be spent on the NASA program and coordinated research for the investigation and proof of extraterrestrial life. We know that there's life outside of Earth's atmosphere. How the fuck do we know that? Go outside and see. Tell me what you see out there. You see stars. You see moon. You see the sun. You see, other planets. Do these planets have life? A lot of people will say that Earth is a life of itself. The oil is the blood, right? All right. So when you sit here and talk about extraterrestrial life, all you saying is there anything outside of Earth's atmosphere? And motherfucker, I could go outside right now in my front fucking door and see that there's extraterrestrial life out there. Because I can see the sun, I can see the moon, I can see the stars. Look, like I said, I'm tired of the bullshit. Y'all about to get a lot more live videos on me. I'm about to start talking like I'm crazy because I'm sick of it. You know what I'm saying? I am a little crazy, you know what I'm saying? But I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm sick and tired of people sitting here writing these books. I respect Ervan Donikin. Obviously, I respected him enough to pick up this book and read it to the point where it's goddamn messed up like this. So obviously, I respect him enough to pick up the book. Do I respect his intelligence? Fuck no. Because he was hanging around people like Giorgio Tsoukalos and Billy Carson who brought his questions to stupidity. Billy Carson's, Giorgio Tsoukalos, y'all need to do better. It's okay to believe in life outside of Earth's atmosphere. It's okay to believe in extraterrestrials. It's okay to believe in aliens. It's okay to believe in all that. But don't say that the Sumerians and everything happened outside of Earth's atmosphere. As much as there's mythologies about things coming outside of Earth's atmosphere, guess what? There's enough technology that we have on hand with scientific data that says that things came from the seas. How do I know that? Look at the trilobites. Like I said, the trilobites. All right, hold up. Let me see. Cause I ain't done yet. I'm sick of the bullshit. We gonna bring ChatGPT back up in here. We're gonna bring ChatGPT back in here. Let's bring ChatGPT back up in this. Let's go ahead and bring ChatGPT in this because a lot of people won't go to ChatGPT or Grok and try to prove me wrong and all this other stuff. Yo, tell me,
Hey there, what's up?
Tell me about trilobites. Are they the oldest species on planet Earth?
Trilobites are definitely ancient. These little armored arthropods first showed up over 500 million years ago, swimming around when life was really getting complex. But they aren't the oldest life forms. Microbial life like bacteria was around billions of years before.
All right, you can stop right there. That's cool with me. Bacteria came before that. All right, so look, man, we know things came from the seas. We know that because we know about the trilobites. You can look at the Oxford University text about the aliens, the Anunnaki / Anuna. And I could use the words aliens correctly because it just means foreign to us if they're foreign to us. Matter of fact, the Sumerians is alien to me because they're foreign to me. They don't have the same culture as me, right? But let's go ahead and just stick to the facts. Look, Eric von Daniken did what he did in 1968 because of the information that he had on hand. Okay. He was a religious person. He went to church like he talked about. He believed in God and so on and so forth. And when he read the Bible, there were certain things that didn't make sense to him. And anybody that reads the Bible, it doesn't make sense. Matter of fact, I'll tell you right now, the New Testament and Old Testament should be separated. They shouldn't be a book or one book. Matter of fact, the Bible means books, 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 multiple, right? So I could take 50 books in my library right now and write in one book of what everything it says, and that's, guess what? That can be a Bible. But let me stick to the facts. He was a religious man, just like Zachariah Sitchin, and he took what he believed in the religious aspect and said, "Hey, this doesn't make sense. Let me find it in ancient text." We already know that Mesopotamia had everything. Matter of fact, if you read the Bible like you're supposed to read it, Shinar means Sumer. That's where the Sumerians come from. And guess who came before the Sumerians? Ubadians. That's where you get these reptilian-like individuals or artifacts and depictions and so on and so forth, right? Let me tell you something. I'm only going to give you facts. I'm going to give you sources. You have questions and I have it, I'm going to give you a book for it. Go through my X account, take your time, Rebirth of the Word, Rebirth. It's actually at Rebirth of the W01 because they shortened it, of course. And you will see that I know what I'm talking about. All I do is share stuff. Look, man, I don't play around with what I share. I don't have to act like I know anything. I just know where to get the information from because I read. Look, let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all real quick before I close this out because I want y'all to understand something. This is me on X. Okay. Yes, I am monetized. Yes, there was a time when I used to say I'm not monetized. This just happened recently, like a month ago. Okay. But yes, I am monetized. I'm following 14.8 thousand people because I feel like, when people follow me, I should follow them back. I just find that as a, respect thing. But I have 21.5 thousand followers. Why is that number higher than the following count that I'm following? Is because I can't be fast enough to follow them back, right? But of course, I come in here and I share what I've read. I take what I've read in the book and I ask ChatGPT to create a scenario picture of what I've read, and I give it what I needed to say, and I ask it to, put it into some kind of meme type thing, right? And this is what I do. That's why you have rebirthoftheword.com on in here, because this is off my wording on how I want things. Also, support little vibe. I might play this song at the end because I actually really enjoy this song. This song gets me hyped, so I might play this at the end. No, I am going to play it at the end. Fuck that. And then I'm about to, I talk about bandwagon. Some of your favorite people on here, they ain't about that knowledge like I am. All they want to do is jump on the bandwagon and share the stuff they think. Look, I do a mythology drop every single day. I've been doing it since 4 or 5 months now. I just started it. I drop a mythology drop, what I know, and I do a little picture, and I put my little information on there. I do a did you know every single day. Like I said, I drop truth bombs all the time from what I've read. A lot of people say, I have a lot of people talking shit, so I played this right here, of course. I drop things from my website, rebirthoftheword.com. Who are all these gods? This one was in Inky similarities with other gods. Khnum, Egyptian god used clay to create humans. Oannes, Mesopotamian mythology, fish god depicted as a fish, but with the head of a man under his fish's head. And Ta, there is evidence that suggests that Inky may have also been Ta. If this is true, I have read that Hephaestus, I can't never say that correctly, was identified with the Egyptian god Ta and the Italian god Volcanos, Angelos. Okay. I share other people's stuff that I feel like they did their due diligence, gives me some information to go research. You know what I'm saying? I love seeing books. Occam's razor, you know what I'm saying? He always, I've never met this actual individual to talk to him, so I don't know who they really are, but I can tell you that they share definitely good stuff. And these are books that I love to read and, get from other people. I drop truth bombs, you know what I'm saying? I have a YouTube. Of course, some of y'all are watching that on there. And I have a playlist that's on Boots on Ground. So not only do I read books, I actually go visit historical sites. Okay. I talk about, different things. Noah's Ark had 8 people on there and only 8 blood types in the world. Is that a coincidence? Who knows? I just put that out there because of information. And like I said, I do did you knows, which you can see. So I'm always sharing stuff. Tridactyls, I love this gentleman right here. You know what I'm saying? This dude be sharing some stuff. I had a conversation with him. He's on it, man. These Tridactyls be interested in, you know, I heard him talk about some people about somebody using taxidermy. See, when it comes to words, you got to use words right, because taxidermy means that you're recreating something in a lifelike form. And that person that used that word was all kinds of wrong. You know, a mythology drop, like I said, you know, I do little shorts, you know, that's Ricardo. He has a great book out there. He's an individual that I do respect, just don't honestly like what he's representing as far as getting people on his show or talking to people, because there are some people out there that, as you know, I don't like because of their racism. I do things like this, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I take quotes, I make videos out of here. Look, check this out.
Strike the flint with the stone and see the light within.
The fire grows stronger.
Strike the flint with the stone and see the light within.
The fire grows stronger.
You know what I'm saying? So I do stuff like that. You know, I'm always dropping information. You know, I always talk about how I'm gonna go live on a certain book, talk about Enlil. You know, I say I go boots on ground. Susie King Taylor, that's in my hometown. I go to different museums. I talk about Amerigo Vespucci. This is the discussion that I had where I tried Tridactyls with Ed. If one's intention is to divine, the I Ching should be used exclusively for divination. Okay, I just drop all kinds of things. So I'm not sitting up here trying to sit here and say that I'm factual in everything that I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I know where to find the information. I send it to you guys. Look, I'm not trying to shit on Eric Von Daniken. I'm just trying to shit on the information that he shared. I mean, I'm sorry you passed away, but you know what I'm saying, that's, you know, you got to be careful and responsible for what you share. And if you're going to share some bullshit, be prepared for somebody to call that out, because I'm going to call it out. It's just facts. I'm definitely going to call it out. I'm not going to sit up here and play any games. I'm not going to sit up here and try to sit up here and win people over. I don't give a damn. I curse, I talk shit, and I know how to back it up. If you don't like it, you don't have to follow me. But if you want real life information, I have a playlist on my YouTube, what I've learned from reading these books. And I have about 70 some odd books on there already. I have thousands of books. I will not get through that in a lifetime. So now what I'm going to start doing is I'm still going to continue to do this, what I've learned from reading these books. But if I see you post some stupid shit online, I'm coming at your neck and I'm going to make a live video about it, like I always say. But let's go ahead and play Lil Vibe's song, because I actually do like Lil Vibe's song. You know, that dude, you know, his music, it helps me. And I was telling him today that his music helps me get through the tough times and the days and so on and so forth. But you know what I'm saying, I'm not trying to sit up here and say, you know, he's my only artist that I listen to, but he is definitely somebody that I listen to on a lot. You know what I'm saying? He's not the only artist, but I do support him and what he does. And this is one of my favorite songs. This is my outro to my song Trenched on my thing. So I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Lil Vibe, play this song, and then we can go ahead and end this stream. So if you're already in here, you just jumped in, you're gonna hear a song from Lil Vibe. But you know what I'm saying? You gotta support people. People don't understand what support is, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like people who supported Eric Von Daniken, they took advantage of him. He doesn't know how American culture is versus German culture. It's two different cultures. My mom is German. My pops is black. I found out from my pop's side that I come from Nigeria and some other places in Africa. And on my mom's side, I have German, Turkish, and all kinds of other stuff. I don't really know where I get my stuff from which family member, because of the simple fact they didn't do their DNA test, but I definitely did. So, give a shout out to Lil Vibe, and we're just going to go ahead and play his song, and we're going to go about our business, see what he talks about, yo.
Yeah. Lil Vibe, what up, Assel, Trenched, yeah, and we trenched, yeah, woo, and we trenched, come on, cause we trenched. Blunt up on my lip with a gun up on my hip, and my mind in the gutter in the dish. I fuck the fish, got the bifocal vision 2020, yeah, I'm seeing what it is. I can't go broke, hit the 3-wheel motion while I'm getting to the dope, Richie Rich. Mask on, blackout, jump race, man, so hard, cause I came from the trench. Jump, brace, smash out, baby, blow that back out, shaking all that ass to the hits. In the game, wipe down, gotta get it right now. I can't waste a second on this shit. I cannot. Got a little hype now, can I let it die down? I remember days in the trench. Time to go hard in, time to go all in, time to give my all to this shit. Panamera maxed out, first class flights out Atlantic to Pacific, yeah, it's lit. Wrist full of ice now, smoking on the spice cloud, talking to the maker in my head. Blunt up on my lip with a gun up on my hip, and my mind in the gutter in the dish. I fuck the bitch, got the bifocal vision 2020, yeah, I'm seeing what it is. I can't go broke, hit the 3-wheel motion while I'm getting to the dope, Richie Rich. Mask on, blackout, jump, race, smash so hard, cause I came from the trench. Blunt up on my lip, and it ain't no need to trip, yeah, I'm coming from the old city trench. Seen a lot of shit on the scene a little bit, with the black on black tinted in his wrist. Cleaner than a bitch, and I'm fresher than a mug, got me feeling like a pirate, take a swig. Charlie, all these hoes with these very, very lows, got me wet up in the water with the fish. Swimming through the currents while I'm peeping the emergence, got the flood going dummy on my wrist. Flash flood warning, got it raining and it's pouring, got the mind in the gutter in the trench. Blunt up on my lip with a gun up on my hip, and my mind in the gutter in the ditch. I fuck the bitch, got the bifocal vision 2020, yeah, I'm seeing what it is. I can't go broke, hit the 3-wheel motion while I'm getting to the dope, Richie Rich. Mask on, blackout, jump, race, smash so hard, cause I came from the trench.
Yeah, that's definitely my homeboy Lil Vibe. He gave me permission to play his music. I enjoy him. Go support him. Go to Spotify. Listen to his album Midnight in LA. It released in 2025. He has another upcoming album coming out. You definitely going to hear more information, songs from him. I support him wholeheartedly. I love his information. I love his music. I love his beats. I love what he does, and he's very supportive. He supports me a lot. I support him. Yo, that's my brother from a different mother. Like I always say, everybody, you know what I'm saying? I always say it. Until next time, knowledge is power.
Got a little hype now, can I let it die down? I remember days in the trench. Time to go hard in, time to go all in, time to give my all to this shit. Panamera maxed out, first class flights out Atlantic to Pacific, yeah, it's lit.